Noel stood inside the large office, surrounded by glass walls and silence. The city lights of Neo-London sparkled below, but his mind was stuck on one thing, the will. Mr. Halden, his father's old lawyer, placed a small black folder on the desk. His face looked serious, as if he was about to say something very strange. And he was. "Noel," the lawyer said, adjusting his glasses, "your father left you everything, his company, shares, property, and tech patents. But there's one condition." Noel raised an eyebrow. "A condition? What kind?" "You must get married," Mr. Halden said simply. Noel laughed. He thought it was a joke, but Halden didn't laugh. He pushed the folder forward. "It's written clearly in this clause. You must legally marry within 7 days of your father's death, or everything will go to your cousin Toma." Noel's smile faded. "You're serious?" "Very." Noel sat down slowly. His mind spun. His father, the great inventor and founder of Halden Tech, always believed in logic and independence. Why would he demand something like this? Why marriage? Noel asked. He believed love would give you balance. He said it would stop you from turning into a cold machine. His words, not mine, Halden added quickly. Noel sighed. Marriage in 7 days? He didn't even have a girlfriend. He barely talked to anyone outside work. His life was clean, organized, and predictable. And now it was about to be turned upside down. Mr. Halden stood and buttoned his coat. "I suggest you start meeting people immediately. The clock is ticking." Back at his apartment, Noel sat on his modern sofa, staring at the city. The eye assistant offered him calming music, but he ignored it. 7 days. That was all he had. His cousin Toma was already probably celebrating. Toma always wanted the company. He once even said Noel didn't deserve it, calling him a lonely robot in a glass tower. If Toma got control, he would tear down everything their father had built. Noel couldn't let that happen. The next day, he called his friend Mika. She was a bold and energetic woman who always tried to push Noel into the world. Marry in a week? Mika laughed on the screen. "Wow, that's the craziest rich guy problem I've ever heard." "I'm not joking," Noel said. Mika leaned in. "Okay, fine. I know someone. She single quotes S. Different. A bit strange. But very smart, and listen, just meet her once. Blind date, no pressure." Noel frowned. "What's her name?" "Mira." "What?" Mika smiled. "She didn't tell me her last name." Noel rubbed his temples. This was a bad idea. But he didn't have time to waste. "Fine, set it up." 2 days later, Noel walked into a quiet rooftop cafe in the city. The sky was cloudy, and soft neon lights reflected off the glass tables. The place was almost empty, and there she was. A young woman sat near the edge, wearing a simple pale dress. She had soft features, calm eyes, and dark hair tied neatly behind her. She looked at him with a small smile. "You must be Noel," she said. He nodded. "And you're Mayra?" She nodded once, her movements graceful and still. As they sat together, Mira asked questions, not normal ones. She asked what emotions felt like when making business decisions, and if he believed human love was logical. She spoke clearly, as if she was learning how to sound natural. Noel, usually bored during dates, found himself leaning in. Mira didn't look at her drink. She didn't touch the food. She seemed to be watching him more than anything else. "You're not what I expected," he said. She tilted her head slightly. "Neither are you." When he asked where she worked or lived, she changed the subject. By the end of the evening, Noel was confused. She didn't seem like someone who wanted romance. And yet, she was interesting. Too interesting. As they walked outside, the wind blew gently through the trees, and Mira stopped beside him. "Thank you for your time," she said. Noel opened his mouth, then paused. "Would you like to meet again?" Mira looked up at the sky for a moment. "Yes, I believe I would." And just like that, the game had started. A week to marry. A mystery woman. and a secret neither of them was ready to share. Noel didn't sleep well that night. He kept thinking about Mira, her strange questions, her calm eyes, and the way she avoided personal topics. She wasn't like any woman he had met before. There was something unusual about her, but he couldn't explain what it was. He woke up early and sat on the edge of his bed. The AI assistant asked, "Would you like your daily briefing?" "No," he said, that his mind wasn't on work. The countdown was ticking. Only 5 days left to get married and save his inheritance. Mira was his only possible option now. But was she even real? What kind of person shows up on a blind date, avoids food, asks deep questions, and gives no last name? Still something inside him said to meet her again. Later that afternoon, Noel sent a message. "Would you like to meet again today?" Mira replied within a minute, "Yes, I would like that." They met in a small public garden near the science district. It was quiet, with robotic gardeners trimming bushes and bees flying around artificial flowers. Mira was already waiting, standing under a tree with her hands behind her back. She wore a plain gray coat and simple shoes. "You're early," Noel said. "I arrived 12 minutes ago," she replied. They sat on a bench. Noel looked at her closely. Her skin was smooth, almost too perfect. No freckles, no scars. Her voice was soft but steady, like she had practiced every word. "Can I ask you something honest?" Noel said. "Yes," she answered. "Are you hiding something?" Mira looked at the ground. "Everyone is hiding something." "That's not an answer," she turned to him. "You're hiding your reason for meeting me, aren't you?" Noel froze. She smiled slightly. "Your friend Mika talks a lot." He sighed. "So you know about the marriage condition?" She nodded. "I found it interesting. A powerful human, forced to marry in 7 days or lose everything. That sounds like a test." Noel narrowed his eyes. "You speak like you're not human." She said nothing. "Who are you, Mira?" She looked away for a long moment, then finally said, "I am a visitor." "From where?" "I cannot tell you yet." "But I mean no harm." Noel laughed a little. "Are you saying you're an alien?" Mira didn't smile. "Half." Noel stopped laughing. "I was born in a different star system," she continued. "My mother was human. My father was not." He stared at her, unsure whether to believe her or walk away. But Mira didn't look like she was joking. Her expression was calm, sincere. "You're serious?" "Yes." "Why are you here?" "To understand human emotions. My people believe feelings are dangerous, but they are also curious. I was sent to observe and learn." Noel leaned back on the bench, overwhelmed. "So this is all a mission to you?" "At first, yes," she said quietly. "But now I'm not sure." Silence fell between them. Birds flew overhead, their wings flapping softly in the wind. "I should go," Noel said finally, standing up. "This is too much. I don't even know if I'm being lied to." Mira stood too. "You are not. But if you wish to walk away, I understand." Noel hesitated. Then he asked, "If you're here to learn about emotions, why agree to marry someone like me?" She looked at him. "Because you are not what I expected either." That night, Noel sat in his apartment again, thinking. He had 5 days left. He needed to marry someone. Mira was strange, maybe dangerous, but she was also honest. In a way others weren't, and he had never met anyone like her before. He picked up his phone and typed a message. "Would you consider something unusual?" A few seconds passed, then Mira replied, "Explain." Noel took a deep breath. "We fake a marriage, just for the week. You help me keep my inheritance. I help you learn whatever you need. After that, we go our separate ways." A long pause followed. Then the message appeared. "Agreed. But only if you promise not to lie to me." Noel smiled for the first time that day. Deal. Noel didn't know how to explain it, but the moment Mira agreed to the fake marriage, something inside him shifted. He had met many smart people in his life, scientists, engineers, business leaders, but Mira was different. She didn't speak to impress. She spoke to understand. Still, he had to stay focused. The clock was ticking. Only 4 days left. The next morning, Noel invited Mira to his apartment. It wasn't just a home. It was a smart tower filled with silent machines, glowing screens. As she stepped inside, Mira looked around, her eyes scanning the room. "You live here alone?" she asked softly. "Yes," Noel replied, pouring her a cup of tea. "I like quiet." She touched a small plant near the window. "Your space is very clean. No photos, no family things." "I'm not close with anyone anymore," he said. "After my mother passed, I stayed focused on work. My father was complicated." Mira sat on the edge of the couch. "I read about him. He was called a genius. He believed emotions were weaknesses. He didn't like when I showed them," Noel said, his voice low. Mira looked at him with kind eyes. "Maybe that's why he wanted you to marry. Maybe he wanted you to learn something he never could." Noel didn't reply. He stood and opened a drawer, pulling out a small legal document. "This is the agreement," he said. "It says we'll marry, just for legal purposes. After 1 week, we can cancel it peacefully. The inheritance stays with me, and your mission continues." Myra read the paper carefully. "You thought of everything. I always do." She picked up the pen and signed. Later that day, they visited the city hall for registration. Noel wore a formal black coat. Mira chose a soft blue dress. The clerk didn't ask too many questions, just a few documents, a few digital scans, and then a quiet stamp. "Congratulations," the clerk said with a smile. "You're officially married." Noel and Mira looked at each other. No rings, no flowers, no guests. Just a paper that changed everything. As they walked out into the street, Mira said, "It feels lighter than I expected." Noel nodded. "It's just a formality." But the word married echoed strangely in his head. They walked together through the market streets. Drones flew above, delivering packages. Children played near water fountains. Music played softly in the background. Everything looked normal, but Noel could feel eyes on them. "I think someone's watching us," he whispered. Mira nodded. "I know." "You do?" She slowed her steps. "There is always someone watching me. My people want to know if I'm safe." Noel stopped. "Wait, you mean aliens are following you?" "Not exactly. They are only observing. I'm still part of their program." He stared at her. "You're not just some curious half-human visitor, are you?" "No." Mira said quietly, "I am part of a galactic trial. Earth is being studied. My presence here is to understand if humans are ready to join the wider universe." Noel blinked. "You're saying Earth is being tested?" "Yes, your world is close to a breakthrough. But trust is hard for my people. Emotions are seen as dangerous. They think humans are too unstable." Noel looked away, then back at her. "And what do you think?" Mira smiled gently. "I think emotions are messy, but they make life beautiful." For a moment, they stood still while the world moved around them. Noel had always trusted machines more than people. Now he had married a woman who wasn't fully human, just to keep his company. And yet, strangely, he didn't regret it. That night, Noel checked the security feed from his building. He noticed something strange. A figure dressed in black stood across the street for over an hour, watching the entrance. The image was blurry, but something about the person felt familiar. Then a message arrived on his private channel. It was from Toma, his cousin. "Nice try, Noel, but I'm watching. Your little marriage trick won't work." Noel clenched his jaw. Toma was already trying to find a way to break the deal. He looked over at Mira, who was sitting quietly near the window, watching the stars. "Trouble is coming," Noel said. Mira nodded without looking away. Then we face it together. The next morning started quietly, but Noel could feel the tension growing. The message from his cousin Toma still echoed in his mind. Your little marriage trick won't work. Toma wasn't someone who gave up easily. He had always wanted the company and was jealous of Noel's place as heir. And now, with only 3 days left, Noel knew his cousin would do anything to stop him. Mira walked into the room, holding a small notebook. She had written down notes about human emotions, questions about behavior, and even some hand-drawn sketches of people they saw the day before. You're really studying all this? Noel asked, surprised. Yes, she said. Every detail. Helps. I must understand how humans connect. It is the key to my mission. He smiled slightly. You sound more serious than I expected for someone in a fake marriage. Mira looked at him. Is it fake to everyone ... or just to you? Noel didn't answer. He walked over to the window. Outside, a black car was parked nearby, same as yesterday. They're watching again, he said. Mira joined him. Yes, but not only them. My people are also watching. Can they hear us? No, I blocked their signal last night. I needed space to think. He turned to her. Mira, if you wanted to leave Earth, could you? She paused. Yes, but I don't want to, not yet. Why? She looked at him, her voice soft. Because I haven't decided what I believe about humans, not fully. And I want to understand you. Later that day, Noel and Mira visited the company headquarters. The board of directors had called an emergency meeting. Toma was already there, sitting confidently in a sharp suit. Noel, the board leader said, we received a message from your cousin. He claims your recent marriage is not genuine. He says it's a trick to satisfy the inheritance clause. Noel stayed calm. My marriage is legal and valid. You can check the records. Toma stood. Legal, yes, but built on lies. I believe this woman isn't even who she says she is. Mira looked at Toma with quiet strength. You don't know me. And you don't know Noel. You only want what your heart can't earn. Power. Toma narrowed his eyes. Who are you to speak to me like that? I am his wife, Mira said simply. The room went silent. One of the older board members cleared his throat. Let's give them time. The clause gives Noel a full 7 days. If the marriage holds by then, we cannot question it. That was your father's wish. Noel nodded. Then we'll be back on the final day, with proof if needed. Toma glared, but said nothing more. As they walked out of the building, Noel looked at Mira. You didn't have to speak for me in there. I did, she replied. Because I believe you're worth standing beside. He didn't know what to say. Something about the way she spoke, so calm and honest, made him feel strange, like the walls he had built for years were slowly falling down. That evening, they sat together in the apartment, looking at the stars through the clear ceiling. Mira pointed at a small cluster. That's my father's star system, she said. It's far, but not impossible to reach. Do you miss it? I don't know. I never truly belonged there. And I'm not sure I belong here either. Noel turned to her. You belong where you choose to be, not where others decide for you. Mira looked at him. Then maybe ... I choose to stay here. For now. A quiet moment passed. No machines spoke. No messages buzzed. Just the sound of quiet breathing and distant city lights. Then Mira said, Noel, may I ask something unusual? Of course. If this was not about money or inheritance, would you still want to know me? He thought for a long moment. Yes, I think I would. And this time, it didn't feel like a lie. 3 days remained. Time was running fast, and Noel knew one thing for sure. He could not afford to make a mistake. If anything went wrong, everything his father built would fall into Toma's hands. He looked across the room at Mira. She was sitting on the edge of the sofa, reading something on a glowing screen. Her eyes moved slowly, carefully. Noelle could tell she was serious about her mission here. She looked up. "I found something," she said. "What is it?" "A document that shows how humans make marriage agreements. Some even make fake ones. For money or immigration. It's common," Noelle chuckled. "You sound surprised." "I am. Where I come from, marriage is permanent. It is not used as a tool." "Well, welcome to Earth," Noelle said, sipping his tea. "Sometimes people do strange things when they're desperate." Mira tilted her head. "Are you desperate, Noelle?" He paused. "Yes, but not just for the inheritance. I'm also tired of being alone. I just didn't realize it until now." For a moment, Mira said nothing. Then she stood and walked over to him. "If we are to continue this agreement, we should know each other better." "You mean ask personal questions?" She nodded. "All right," he said. "You go first." "What?" "Was your happiest memory as a child?" Noelle blinked. That was not the question he expected. Probably the time my mother took me to the sea. We stayed in a small house, no work, no machines. Just her, me, and the waves." Mira smiled. "That sounds peaceful." "Now you," Noelle said. "What's your happiest memory?" She looked out the window. "I was 5. My mother let me paint the walls of our ship with my hands. She said it didn't matter what it looked like, it mattered that it was mine." Noelle smiled. "I like that." Later that day, they went out together to make their agreement more believable. They took public photos holding hands in the park, smiling near the water, sitting close at a cafe. People noticed. The news spread fast. Noelle Halden, the quiet son of the tech empire, was suddenly married to a mysterious woman. Toma noticed. 2. That evening, Noelle received a message on his personal screen. It was short and sharp. "You think this little act will save you? I'll expose the truth before the week ends." Noelle's hands tightened around the device. Mira walked in and saw his face. "Is it him again?" She asked. "Yes. Toma won't stop until he finds a way to destroy this. He is trying to make you afraid. He might succeed." Mira came closer. "Then we will make him fail together." Noelle looked at her. "You keep saying we, why?" "Because I agreed to be your partner in this. And my people believe in keeping promises." There was something about the way she said it that made him trust her more. Her voice was gentle, but full of quiet strength. As night came, they sat near the large window. Outside, the lights of the city shimmered like stars on the ground. Mira spoke again. "If your father didn't put that condition in the will, would you have ever thought about marriage?" Noelle shook his head. "No, I thought relationships were distractions. My father used to say love is a weakness. And now?" He looked at her. "Now, I think love might be the only thing that can make people strong." Mira turned her eyes toward the stars. "Where I come from, people are chosen for duty. Love is not part of life. But I am beginning to think Earth has something special. Something we've forgotten." They sat quietly, both lost in thought. Noelle finally said, 3 days. "If we make it through, I'll get everything." Mira nodded. "And I will return to my people with answers." But neither of them said what they were. Truly thinking, what if this agreement was turning into something more? Only 1 day remained. The final deadline was near. Noelle stood by the tall window in his apartment, looking out at the glowing city. It was raining lightly, and the sound of drops hitting the glass filled the quiet room. Behind him, Mira was typing something into her small device. They had grown closer in just a few days, closer than he had ever expected. But today, something felt different. A sharp beep came from Noelle's desk. He turned to see a red message flashing on the screen. "Urgent news report. Noelle Halden's wife accused of hiding alien originals." Eyes widened. He clicked the file. A video began playing. It showed a blurry photo of Mira near the science district. her hand glowing slightly as she touched a sensor. The voice in the report said, "Sources claim this woman is not fully human. Is Noel Halden's marriage a cover-up?" Mira walked over and saw the screen. Her face remained calm, but her voice became quiet. "They found it." "Who?" Noel asked, though he already knew the answer. "Toma. He must have sent someone to follow me." Noel's jaw clenched. He crossed the line. "This isn't just business anymore. This is personal." That afternoon, things got worse. The company board called an emergency meeting. Half the members were unsure what to believe. Some had already begun talking about freezing Noel's inheritance until a full investigation could be done. Toma used the moment to rise. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said with a fake smile, "this marriage was never real. It was a move to trick us all. And now we learn the truth. His wife is not even fully human." Noel stood. "That has nothing to do with the agreement. The will never said she must be human. It said I must be married. And I am. But why hide it?" Toma asked loudly. "Why lie?" Mira stepped forward. Her voice was calm but firm. "I did not lie. I simply waited. I wanted to understand humans before they judged me. Can you blame me for that?" The room fell silent. Even Toma didn't speak for a moment. One of the older board members cleared his throat. "We cannot make a final decision until the legal time is over. That happens tomorrow. Until then, the agreement stands." Noel nodded. "Then we'll be here tomorrow. You'll have your proof." After the meeting, Noel and Mira returned home. But trouble followed them. A large drone was waiting outside their apartment building. It hovered silently, scanning Mira. Noel stepped in front of her. "Stop!" he shouted. But the drone only flashed a red light, took one more scan, and flew away. Mira looked worried. "That wasn't one of Toma's. That was from the council." "You mean your people?" She nodded. "They know I've gone too deep into this world. They believe I'm losing focus." Noel looked at her. "Are you?" She didn't answer at first. Then, in a soft voice, she said, "Yes." He stepped closer. "Do you want to leave Earth?" Mira looked into his eyes. "I did, not anymore." There was silence between them. A quiet understanding. Later that night, they sat together by the window. The stars peeked through the clouds, and the rain had stopped. Noel finally spoke. "You know this all started because of money, control, and rules. But now ... I don't care about any of that." Mira smiled. "Then what do you care about?" He looked at her. "You." She looked away for a second, as if unsure how to respond. "Then we must face the council tomorrow. They might try to take me away." "They won't," Noel said firmly. "You're my wife. Even if this began as a contract, it's something more now." Mira's eyes softened. "Then I will stay for you. And for myself." Noel reached for her hand. This time she didn't pull away. Together they looked up at the sky. Tomorrow would bring questions, challenges, and maybe even danger. But they were no longer just pretending. Something real had grown between them, and no lie, no cousin, and no alien council could erase that. The final day had arrived. Noel stood in front of the mirror, fixing the collar of his jacket. His hands felt cold, but his eyes were steady. Today would decide everything: his inheritance, his company, and most of all, Mira. Mira entered the room wearing a plain white dress. It wasn't fancy, but it looked perfect on her. She carried no makeup, no jewelry, only a quiet confidence. "Are you ready?" she asked. Noel nodded. "As ready as I'll ever be." They left the apartment together, walking through a crowd of reporters gathered outside. Cameras flashed. People shouted questions. Is it true she's not human? Is this marriage real or fake? "Noel, will you give up the company?" Noel held Mira's hand tightly and said nothing. Inside the Halden Tech headquarters, the boardroom was full. All 12 board members were present. Toma stood near the window, wearing a proud smile. He looked too relaxed, too confident. The lead board member, Mr. Bryn, stood up. "We are here to confirm the final condition of the late Mr. Halden's will. As written, Noel Halden must be married for 7 continuous days to receive full control of the company." Thomas stepped forward. "Before you accept this, I must show proof that this marriage was never real. Her identity is unclear. She is not human. The law was not meant to protect outsiders or fake relationships." Noel stood calmly. "You're wrong. The law only required marriage. It did not mention race, origin, or purpose. But the spirit of the law," Toma began, "is being followed," Noel said. "And more than that, I have something to show you." He pressed a button on the small device Myra had made. A soft light glowed on the table. "This machine reads emotional responses. It shows the truth of how people feel." The board members looked at each other with surprise. "I will go first," Noel said. He placed his hand on the pad. The light changed from blue to green, then to gold. On the screen, a soft wave of color moved slowly, forming a shape. Myra spoke. "He is telling the truth. He is calm, honest, and emotionally connected." Then she placed her hand on the pad. The color changed to pink and soft purple. A peaceful shape formed on the screen. The room remained quiet. Mr. Bryn looked at the others. "These readings are not fake?" "No," Myra said. "This is alien technology. But it tells the truth." Thomas stepped forward. "This is just a trick. Look at her. She's not even one of us." Noel turned to face him. "That's where you're wrong, Toma. She is one of us. She may be from another world, but she chose to be here. She chose to be with me. She didn't lie. She didn't cheat. But you've been watching us, spreading lies, trying to destroy something you never understood." Toma's face turned red with anger. Noel looked around the room. "This company was built on ideas, on innovation, on going beyond limits. If my father were here, he'd want someone who could lead with both logic and heart, not someone ruled by fear and jealousy." There was silence. Then Mr. Bryn stood. "We have heard enough." The board members whispered to each other for a few minutes. Then he turned back. "According to the will, the marriage has lasted 7 full days. No law has been broken. The condition has been fulfilled." Thomas stepped back, his face pale. Mr. Bryn continued. "Noel Halden is now the full owner and director of Halden Tech." The room clapped softly. Some nodded with respect. Others looked amazed. But Thomas stormed out without a word. After the meeting, Noel and Myra walked out of the building. Reporters ran forward, but this time Noel stopped. "I have something to say," he told them. Cameras turned to him. He held Myra's hand. "This woman beside me is not just my wife. She's a symbol of something bigger. We are not alone in the universe, and that truth should not be feared. Love, trust, and honesty are not only human, they are universal. If we cannot open our hearts, how can we ever grow?" Myra looked at him with soft eyes. For the first time, she felt truly seen, not as a visitor, not as a mission, but as herself. They walked away, hand in hand, stronger than before.